What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am back to do my Payback 2017 predictions. Now, of course, Payback is the first pay-per-view right after the Ultimate Thrill Ride of WrestleMania. It is this Sunday live on the WWE Network from the Shark Tank SAP Center, San Jose, California. Of course, this is a great pay-per-view after Mania, just like Backlash was for WrestleManias in the past. Payback is a great pay-per-view to start the what do you call it, the pay-per-views after WrestleMania, after the Ultimate Thrill Ride, which was amazing, by the way. If you did not see WrestleMania, definitely. A lot of oh my god moments and a lot of meh moments, if you know which matches I'm talking about. Now, of course, I want to remind everybody that my Wrestling Dotaku video is up too. I hope you guys can check that out. And of course, my Stanley Cup second round predictions are up too. So I will have those in the end by the end of the video, so you guys can check those out. But this is of course, Payback. Of course, my record going into this pay-per-view, like since our first pay-per-view predictions, which was the Elimination Chamber, is 18-8-1. So that is not too bad going into this pay-per-view. So I hope I can continue the streak of a winning record going into pay-per-view after pay-per-view, in which the next pay-per-view I will be doing, hopefully, will be Global Wars, I think, because there's still no card for Ring of Honor. And, of course, Backlash, May 21st, and of course TakeOver Chicago on May 20th. So I'll have both of those videos out the week going into those pay-per-views. So definitely watch that. Definitely watch those two videos. But other than me rambling like I usually do in my videos, let's get started with these picks. Of course, they are 7 matches. Pending another match, if they announce it, I'll put in my description who I got in that match. So let's get started with these picks. I'm going to start. These are not in order. This is where I think it's going to go. Starting with the first match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Of course, I'm talking about the champion, the king of the Cruiserweights, Neville, versus the greatest man to ever live, A-Double Austin Aries. Now, of course, this is a rematch of WrestleMania. They had the WrestleMania kickoff show. The Cruiserweight title was on the line. Neville beat Austin Aries in a pretty not too bad Cruiserweight match. Usually with Cruiserweight matches, it's not too bad or pretty amazing. This one was not too bad, somewhere in the middle. That's pretty amazing. And of course, Aries winning a fatal 4-way match to become the #1 contender again. And of course, this whole thing with TJ, or I like to call him Teddy Joystick, TJ Perkins, if you know who I'm talking about, like getting involved with Neville, which is really interesting. And then of course, getting in kind of in the way of Neville, getting in kind of the way of Aries to try to stop Neville. This should be a fantastic match. But again, I could say Aries is going to win this match, but I think with this whole TJ Perkins added to the mix, that he can maybe come out and cost Aries the match, I'm going to go with Neville. I think Neville needs a little bit longer reign as the Cruiserweight Champion. He won in January, so he's only had February, March, April, 3-month title reign. I give him a little bit more time with the title. He's doing pretty well with the title as we speak. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take Neville to retain his Cruiserweight Championship. Now the next matchup, grudge match. Of course, I'm talking about Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Now, of course, this thing started after the Royal Rumble, where, of course, Samoa Joe debuted on Raw, tagged Seth Rollins, accidentally tore his MCL, and then, of course, Seth Rollins getting his payback against Triple H, and Samoa Joe is, being Triple H's heavy, if you will, getting pissed about what happened to Stephanie McMahon going through the table, thanks to Triple H, or they just want to say they blame Seth Rollins for that. This should be a good match. I think Samoa Joe is still undefeated, on pay-per-view. He hasn't lost on pay-per-view for the WWE yet, so that's pretty. This should be a fantastic matchup. I would say they must have had matches in the Indies. If anybody remembers them, let me know in the comments. This should be a fantastic match with these two. This should be a fantastic match. So coming from me in this matchup, this one's tough because I like Seth, but I also love Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe is undefeated on pay-per-view. Seth Rollins is Seth freaking Rollins. Coming from me, I will take I'm gonna take Seth Rollins. I'm gonna take Seth Rollins to win this match. I could be wrong here, but I'm gonna take Seth Rollins to win this match. Keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going. So I'm gonna take Seth Rollins to beat Samoa Joe in this matchup. Now the next matchup for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Of course, the Hardy Men, not the Hardy Boys. They're not 20 anymore. They're like 30 and 40. The Hardy Men versus, of course, the number one contenders, the Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, of course, the biggest surprise at WrestleMania this year was the return of the Hardys. In the ladder match, they made it a Fatal 4-Way ladder match, and they won the titles. 7-time tag team champions, the Hardys. Well, multiple tag team champions. If you watch their adventures in the premonition of gold, the expedition of gold, if you will. But they've won multiple titles around the world in 60 days. And of course, them winning the titles really gives like the Raw Tag Team division something, because of course, with Dash Wilder hurt with a shattered jaw, the tag team division is really just Enzo and Cass, Anderson and Gallows, Cesaro and Sheamus, and the Hardys. So, and again, speedy recovery for Dash Wilder, because we need the top guys back on Raw. And then you have Cesaro and Sheamus, who did win a number one contenders match to become by beating Enzo and Cass to become the number one contenders. And of course, they've been talking about this whole, it's a nostalgia act. But knowing me, if you know me, nostalgia is good. I mean, you can say that when it comes to nostalgia, when it comes to cartoons, the 90s are better than now. Like, nostalgia is sometimes good. And with this whole, and then the whole thing of that they may bring the broken Matt Hardy to the WWE, which would be, and the Brother Nero stuff, if this whole lawsuit gets covered down, that's going to be fantastic. So coming from me, I am going to take the Hardys to delete the Warrior of Celtic and the Superman of Swiss and make them obsolete. So I'm taking the Hardys to delete and beat Cesaro and Sheamus to retain their Raw Tag Team Championships. Now the next matchup for the United States Championship. Of course, the former champion Y2J versus the face of America and reigning, defending United States champion Kevin Owens. Now, of course, this match was done before the Superstar Shakeup, which, of course, Kevin Owens was moved to SmackDown Live, which is a great move. And I will have to say, SmackDown did win the Superstar Shakeup, in my honest opinion. Disagree. Look what SmackDown still has, and look what Raw has. Case in point, but I digress. But of course, Kevin Owens winning the title at WrestleMania. Then they had the rematch. Then Owens was moved to SmackDown, and he became the new face of America as the United States champion. Now, coming from me with this whole new face of America thing with Kevin Owens, I like it, but it feels like the Rusev stuff. Oh, I'm not American, but I'm the United States champion. But I'm hopeful this is going to be better than what they did with Rusev, because Kevin Owens is a lot better than Rusev, no offense to him. But I like the gimmick. I mean, he's shaved. I mean, his entrance is just his face in a suit, which is like, okay, that's crazy. And of course, Chris Jericho, of course, trying to get back the title. And then the whole stipulation is if Jericho wins this match, he'll be property of SmackDown Live. So, which makes the prediction kind of obvious. And of course, Kevin Owens should be looking behind his shoulder, like looking this way, looking that way, because the next contender for him is, of course, the number one contender for the United States title, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Of course, hopefully that will be a match at Backlash, which is the next SmackDown pay-per-view. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm gonna take the face of America, Kevin Owens, to win, because it's predictable. This could be Jericho's last match in the WWE. I mean, he's gonna be touring with his rock group Fozzy. So this may be the last time we see Jericho on Raw for a while. So this is a good way to take him off. So coming from me, I am taking Kevin Owens to retain the United States Championship. Now the next matchup. For the Raw Women's Championship. Of course, the challenger and number one contender, Alexa Bliss, who came from SmackDown to Raw against the champion, of course, the hometown girl at this pay-per-view, and I'm talking about Bayley. Now, of course, Alexa Bliss, the former two-time women's SmackDown Women's Champion, was drafted to Raw. They put her in a fatal four-way match against Charlotte. Oh wait, I think it was against Charlotte, Sasha. It was Nia, Sasha, Alexa Bliss, and I would take a wild guess. It was I can't forget who the other one was, but I know Alexa did win that match in her hometown in Columbus, Ohio. So that was a big win for her, and she went from being two-time women's champion to now being in the Raw women's title match. And then you have Bayley, of course. She did win at WrestleMania in that fatal four-way match against Charlotte, Sasha, and Nia Jax. Not the greatest women's title match. I mean, it was there. It was good. It was not just a lot of mistakes, if you know what I mean. Of course, Bayley, this is her hometown. This is the show. I mean, coming from me, I did say it at Payback she should lose the women's title, but with Charlotte going to SmackDown Live, that kind of changes everything. And Bayley being in her hometown, the Raw Women's title definitely needs a long title reign. We haven't had a long title reign in a while with this title, so I think Bayley holding on to it for a little longer, maybe up to SummerSlam, would make more sense. And maybe losing to Sasha Banks, maybe that'll turn her heel. But and of course Bayley being in her hometown, she better have teal. Like her. She wore Niner colors at the takeover, but she better be wearing some teal, like Sharks teal in her attire in that show, because she's from San Jose. She's got to be repping the Sharks. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take Bayley to retain her Raw Women's title against Alexa Bliss. This is going to be a great match, but I'm taking Bayley to beat Alexa Bliss. Now the next matchup for the WWE title. Of course, the challenger and former champion Bray Wyatt versus the champion, of course, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Now, of course, this match was the match I said that a lot of people did not like. And this was having all these mind games and then 2 RKOs, 1, 2, 3, to end Bray Wyatt's somewhat mediocre title run, and Orton's now the WWE champion. Now this is a House of Horrors match. Yeah, Bray, WCW Raven called. They want their match gimmick back of House of Horrors, and I heard it's gonna start outside the arena, and then into the ring. What is this? 2000 WCW hardcore matches? They start in the back, then they come to the ring. And then, of course, Bray Wyatt doing all his mumbo-jumbo mind games that obviously don't work. I mean, talks about, oh yeah, he's the guy he won the WWE title in the Elimination Chamber, and then he lost 2 months later. And then, again, I can still say it to myself. I can still say it, and AJ should have never lost the WWE title at the Royal Rumble. Like, this has been complete clusterfuck with that WWE title. I mean, you went from AJ holding it, and then Cena winning it, then Cena losing it 2 weeks later, and then Orton winning it 2 weeks later. And then and of course Bray was drafted to Raw. Well, good luck there. He ain't gonna really do shit there other than take pins. I mean, and then of course Randy Orton winning the WWE title, and then his next contender was named on SmackDown last week, which was... Now, bear with me. His next contender is Jinder Mahal. Now, I'm not lying to you. Jinder Mahal will challenge the winner of this match at Backlash for the WWE title. Yes, hard-body Jinder, and don't hinder him, because there's no hinder Jinder. But Jinder Mahal is getting the first title shot. Of course, I have my opinions on that, and I will say that in my Backlash predictions. But I digress. This is going to be... I don't know how this match is going to be. We don't know what it is, but the result is going to be the same. Bray Wyatt is the eater of pinfalls, and he's going to take this pinfall again, and then he'll be on Raw. Then he'll have all these crazy juju promos about almost sometimes nothing, and then build it up just to take L's. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take I'm gonna take the champion. I'm gonna take Randy Orton to retain the WWE title over Bray Wyatt, so Bray Wyatt can take L's on Raw. So I'm taking Orton to beat Bray. And now the main event, which of course, no Brock Lesnar, so this is our main event for Payback. Of course, it is the battle of the big dog and the monster among men. Of course, I'm talking about Roman Reigns. Ooh! Of course, and of course his opponent is Braun Strowman. Now, this has been building since, of course, this is a rematch of Fastlane, where Roman Reigns beat Braun Strowman. And of course, at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns did beat The Undertaker. And of course, the night after, Roman Reigns comes out, they're booing him, they're saying, fuck you, Roman, delete. Only thing he said, this is my yard now. And he left. Greatest segment Roman Reigns has ever done. If that was not turning him, if that was not a heel turn, I don't know what that is. And then, then a week or two later, he does his interview with Michael Cole. Talking like he's trying to say, oh, I did what I had to do. Like, what happened to just saying this is my yard? Now you're trying to, Vince is just literally trying to force feed Roman Reigns as a babyface. And then in that same segment, Braun Strowman went ballistic. He threw, it's maybe the greatest segment on Raw in a long time. Like, maybe the best segment I've seen on Raw. He just throws him around just like a limp baby. He's on a stretcher. He flips the stretcher, on concrete. And then while he's in the ambulance, Braun picks up the ambulance and tips it over. Braun is the face of Raw. I don't care. And then the week after, he suplexes Big Show and the ring collapsed. And then tonight, what he did to Kalisto, he threw him off the stage in a dumpster. Not as great as Cactus and Chainsaw Charlie what the Outlaws did to Cactus and Chainsaw in the early '98 era when they just pushed them off, and you know that was maybe a great moment. But this one was just like a small dumpster, But Braun Strowman is the face of Raw. I don't care. He's not even the champion, and he's so freaking over. This is going to be a good match. I thought this was going to be a gimmick match because I think the gimmick match will be at Extreme Rules, which is the next Raw pay-per-view. Coming from me, again, I could say Roman Reigns is going to win. I can say it's going to be some double no contest, but I'm gonna go with this guy, Braun Strowman, to beat Roman Reigns. You can Roman Reigns can take an L here, but he'll win at Extreme Rules. It's obvious. So I'm taking Braun Strowman to beat Roman Reigns in this main event matchup. And those are my Payback predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy my predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning these matchups? And again, who do you think won this Superstar Shakeup? Coming from me, it was SmackDown. Tell me what your guys' opinion is. I'm always on to see your opinions, your comments, of course. Liking them, and of course replying to them. And of course, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great week. And of course, you can never forget to do on my channel is to that like button, comment, share with your friends, do what you gotta do, super kick that like button as only you guys can, the MVPs of my channel, and of course you can never forget to that subscribe button, become part of this bigger and badder Dangerous Alliance, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.